The story opens with Alice, a woman in her 30s who has spent the last 8 years working at a magazine company. She is so focused on her career that she leaves her daughter in the care of her sister, just so she can dedicate more time to work. At the moment, Alice is in Brazil on a business trip when she gets a call from her friend, Pauline. Pauline tells her that a young woman at the office has been trying hard to catch their boss's attention, and rumors say that this girl is close to getting a promotion. Hearing this, Alice feels crushed. For years, she has given her whole life to the company, yet she has not received a single promotion in the last 4 years. Determined not to be left behind, she rushes to finish her assignment and heads straight back to Paris. On the flight to Paris, Alice accidentally crosses paths with a young man named Balthazar. Because of a technical mistake, his economy seat was given to someone else, so he gets upgraded to business class and ends up sitting right next to Alice. Balthazar is thrilled to experience this kind of luxury for the first time, enjoying every detail of the business seat. Alice, however, is buried in her work, barely noticing the stranger sitting beside her. As the plane prepares to land, sudden turbulence hits. Alice grows anxious, and in a moment of fear, she instinctively grabs Balthazar's hand. For him, that simple gesture feels extraordinary. No woman has ever held his hand before, and in that brief moment, he feels an attraction he cannot put into words, even though he does not say anything. And in that unexpected touch, something quietly begins. This is it, boy.
She got friends by the dozens. She keeps...
When they arrive at the airport, Alice's sister and her daughter are already waiting for her. At the same time, Balthazar notices a flash drive lying under his seat. It belongs to Alice. He quickly gets off the plane to return it, but by the time he leaves the terminal, Alice has already gone home with her family. That night, Alice's sister, Elizabeth, tells her about a man who seems perfect for her, not only a doctor, but also a very promising potential partner. Alice has no interest in finding a relationship and dismisses the idea without a second thought. The next day, Alice heads straight to the office. There, she faces a group of women, her colleagues, who quietly dislike her attitude. Even so, her 2 close friends, Simon and Pauline, always stay by her side. Pauline lets Alice know that a man named Balthazar called the office. Alice brushes it off, assuming she does not know anyone by that name. In reality, Balthazar is simply trying to return her flash drive. But Alice is so consumed by work that she has no time for something that seems so small. Later, Alice goes to see her boss, Vincent, and asks why she still has not been promoted. Vincent explains that her writing has become outdated and no longer excites readers. He tells her that she needs something more lively and fresh in her life if she wants her articles to stand out again. Vincent points to Lisa, a socialite who has been married 3 times, and explains that Lisa's messy, colorful life helps sell their magazines. He suggests that Alice do something similar, warning her that if nothing changes, she could lose her job in a matter of days. Shaken by this, Alice throws herself into work, staying late into the night, desperately looking for a way to bring new color into her life. When Alice finally pauses for a moment, she finds a note from Pauline about someone who found her flash drive. Only then does Alice remember that she accidentally left it on the plane. Already weighed down by so many problems, this new mistake pushes her frustration even deeper. She quickly dials the number Pauline wrote down, which belongs to Balthazar. When Alice calls, Balthazar is at a bar, and at first hesitates to meet in such a crowded place. But since Alice is racing against time, she decides to go and meet him there herself. At the bar, Alice unexpectedly runs into a few coworkers who look shocked to see her in such a loud and chaotic place. A moment later, Balthazar arrives and explains that her flash drive is actually at his house, which means they need to go there to retrieve it. He leads her outside and asks her to get on his scooter. Alice has never ridden on one with anyone before, so she feels awkward and unsure. She even struggles to put on the helmet until Balthazar gently helps her. What Alice does not know is that 2 co-workers are secretly following them. They take a photo from an angle that makes it look like Alice is kissing Balthazar. Without thinking twice, they upload it straight to social media. Eventually, Alice arrives at Balthazar's home and briefly meets his father. Balthazar hands her the flash drive, and as she prepares to leave, he nervously asks if she would like to get coffee together. Alice politely declines, explaining that dating a 20-year-old is not something she is interested in. With that, Balthazar assumes she is simply not attracted to him and goes back to his normal routine. The next day at work, Alice quickly senses that something is off. People stare at her in a way she cannot explain. Pauline finally tells her that a photo of her with Balthazar has gone viral, making it look like they were kissing. Alice immediately understands the misunderstanding, but before she can process it, Vincent surprisingly praises her. He tells her he likes this new version of Alice and believes that a bit of drama like this is good for magazine sales. At this point, Alice is stunned by how fast everything in her life seems to be shifting. Unsure of what to do next, Alice confides in Simon. He suggests that she pretend to date Balthazar in order to build a new public image. According to him, it would impress the boss and make her work relevant again. Alice hates the idea of manipulating someone's feelings, but her obsession with getting promoted slowly outweighs her hesitation. In the end, she decides to go through with it. The following day, Alice suddenly shows up at Balthazar's university, catching him completely off guard. She begins speaking in a way that hints at nostalgia, pretending that his presence reminds her of an old college boyfriend. She implies that his offer for coffee brought back memories and made her want to take things further. Hearing this fills Balthazar with excitement, and he believes she truly likes him. Alice then hands him an address and asks him to meet her later that evening. The event turns out to be a performance hosted by her best friend, Ludovic, attended by many of her colleagues and important people from her industry. Alice brings Balthazar along, even though he is noticeably underdressed. The reality is that she only wants people to believe they are dating, using the situation as a way to strengthen her image. Throughout the night, Alice begins doing things she normally would never do, like drinking and smoking, trying to embody this new, bold version of herself. During the event, Ludovic becomes a little too familiar with Alice right in front of Balthazar. To him, it feels disrespectful, so he makes a sly remark about Ludovic's performance, almost as a way to put him in his place. Surprisingly, Alice finds it funny, while Ludovic walks away embarrassed and offended. After that moment, Alice and Balthazar continue talking, but their conversation is interrupted when Alice receives a call from Elizabeth. She reminds Alice that the doctor she was supposed to meet has already been invited to dinner. Not wanting to create any complications, Alice quickly lies to Balthazar and says her daughter is unwell. She excuses herself and leaves. Balthazar walks her to a taxi before heading home, and his kindness leaves a mark on her. Something about his sincerity begins to stay with her. When Alice finally arrives home, still tipsy, she starts asking strange and inappropriate questions to the doctor, Claude. Eventually, Claude humiliates her in front of everyone, which angers Alice and makes her walk out.
D'ailleurs, Richard, comment vous connaissez Elisabeth, ma sœur?
Proche de la vie, plus proche d'eux-mêmes, plus proche de... Non, je vous en prie.
Ça va, Alice? Une toute petite seconde.
In the days that follow, she continues trying to impress her boss, but nothing seems to work. So she forms a new plan and decides to take Balthazar to a fashion show attended by her company's CEO. During the show, one of the models slips and falls on the runway. Without hesitation, Balthazar rushes forward and gently helps her stand. His sincere act of kindness surprises and impresses everyone watching, including Vincent. After the event, Vincent praises him and even jokes that Balthazar could be a model because of his charm and looks. Alice laughs while Balthazar responds humbly, saying his mother raised him to always respect women. He was simply following her teachings. Later that night, he takes Alice home on his scooter. When they arrive, the mood shifts. The moment feels close and personal, but Alice steps back, feeling unsure and not ready.
Il est tard là, non?
Je sais pas.
Je vais pas me rencontrer.
She rushes inside, leaving Balthazar wondering if he did something wrong. Overwhelmed with guilt and confusion, he returns to her place later that night. Their conversation softens, walls begin to fall, and eventually they share a tender and intimate moment. The next morning, Alice wakes up filled with regret and awkwardness. Before she can gather her thoughts, Elizabeth and her daughter suddenly show up. Startled, Alice introduces Balthazar as nothing more than a co-worker. She even hands him random documents to make the situation look professional and asks him to leave. Just as he turns to go, something shifts inside her. Alice pulls him close and kisses him. This spontaneous reaction reveals something she has been ignoring. She is beginning to care for him, even if she never planned to. As time goes on, their connection grows. Balthazar brings her small, thoughtful gifts, things that seem simple but mean so much to her. Alice treasures these moments. For the first time in a long time, she feels warmth and joy instead of pressure and routine. Still, somewhere deep inside, she avoids thinking about the consequences of this relationship. She lets the feelings flow without looking ahead. Eventually, she confides in Simon about her growing closeness with Balthazar. Meanwhile, Balthazar begins to wonder about the truth. One day, his curiosity becomes too strong, and he asks why she chose him, when she could easily be with someone older or more established. Alice knows the real reason. She knows how it all started and what truly motivated her. But she cannot bring herself to say it. Instead of answering, she stays silent, letting him speak while she avoids facing a truth that could break everything. Not long after, an important day arrives at Alice's office. A new project is launched, and to her surprise, Alice is chosen to lead it. The moment feels rewarding. Years of effort, pressure, and sacrifice finally pay off. But beneath that excitement sits a quiet uneasiness she cannot shake. The closer she gets to her professional goals, the more complicated her personal life becomes. Torn between success and emotion, Alice decides to distance herself from Balthazar. One evening, filled with genuine hope, Balthazar brings Alice to his university auditorium. There, he makes a heartfelt decision and proposes to her. The moment catches Alice completely off guard. Instead of feeling joy, she feels overwhelmed. She tries to explain that in 10 years she will be 50, and the age difference between them will only draw judgment. Balthazar assures her that none of that matters to him. Be love is cause his sincere. But despite his words, Alice insists that their relationship has no future. She tells him it must end. She knows she has used him for her career, yet she cannot bring herself to admit it. And she also cannot continue living in the lies she created. After that night, everything about Alice shifts. She becomes quiet, withdrawn, avoiding deep conversations even with her own sister. Eventually, she opens up to Simon, confessing the guilt that keeps weighing on her. Simon listens and reminds her that healing will take time. Meanwhile, Balthazar is no longer the cheerful young man he used to be. He pours his feelings out to his father, who tries to comfort him, telling him that heartbreak is part of life and he must keep moving forward. But for Balthazar, nothing feels the same. Life seems paused, empty, and directionless without Alice. 2 weeks pass, and change returns in an unexpected way. Tracy, the chief editor, visits Alice's office to review the latest magazine cover. She is unhappy with the results and begins looking around for new ideas. Her eyes land on Alice's laptop, displaying an image of Balthazar. She recognizes him from the fashion show. Dissatisfied with all the current models, Tracy immediately decides that Balthazar should be the next face of the magazine. Hearing this, Alice feels uncomfortable. The last thing she wants is to be connected to Balthazar again under these circumstances. She tries to convince Vincent that Balthazar is too inexperienced and nowhere near ready to model professionally. But Vincent refuses to reconsider. The decision is final. Alice must bring him in or the project will be handed to someone else. Cornered and with no alternative, Alice reaches out to Balthazar. She even goes to his house in person. When he sees her, he thinks she came because she missed him. But instead of anything heartfelt, Alice explains the situation and asks for his participation. The truth hits him hard. Disappointed and hurt, Balthazar walks away, leaving Alice standing in silence. The next day, the entire team gathers for the photo shoot. Alice grows more anxious with every passing minute because Balthazar still has not arrived. Just when she begins to lose hope, he finally walks in. Even after everything, he still wants to help her. He still loves her, and walking away from her completely is something he cannot bring himself to do. While Balthazar is getting ready in the makeup room, Simon walks in. He apologizes and admits that the idea which led to Balthazar's heartbreak came from him. He explains everything, including Alice's plan and the real reason behind it. Hearing the truth stings. Emotions collide inside Balthazar, but instead of breaking down, he decides to act. He walks out into the studio and right in front of everyone, he kisses Alice. It is bold and intentional, meant to make the relationship look real and unbroken. But after that moment, the full truth finally reaches him. He realizes Alice never truly loved him. She only pretended. The shock cuts deep, but before he can process any of it, the photo shoot begins. For Balthazar, the entire modeling process feels uncomfortable. He stands stiffly, unsure where to look or how to pose. The photographer continues giving instructions, but none of it feels natural. His frustration grows with every second until finally everything inside him snaps. He storms off the set, needing to escape the cameras, the stares, and most of all, Alice. Alice runs after him, but what comes out of her mouth is not an apology. She shows no regret. Instead, she demands that he go back and apologize to the photographer, as if his pain means nothing compared to her ambition. At this point, Alice is so blinded by her career that she cannot see the damage she has caused. Or maybe she does, but chooses not to care because all she wants is for the situation to be fixed and forgotten. This time, Balthazar does not stay silent. Anger finally replaces patience. In front of everyone, he reveals the truth. Their entire relationship was fake, a performance created by Alice to push her career forward. The room erupts in shock. People stare at Alice as if they no longer recognize her. Vincent and Tracy are furious and deeply disappointed. Everything Alice worked for collapses instantly. She is fired on the spot. In one moment, she loses both the job she fought so long for and the person she never expected to love. Life after that becomes quiet. Alice moves through the city feeling hollow. Streets feel longer, her home feels empty, and memories of Balthazar follow her everywhere. The loneliness she once ignored now grows heavier each day. Eventually, the feelings become too much to carry. One day, Alice finds herself walking toward Balthazar's campus, the same place where she broke his heart. She steps inside the auditorium, filled with students. This time, she is not trying to impress anyone. She just wants to be honest. Standing before the audience, she finally speaks her truth. She admits that she allowed fear, age, expectations, and ambition to guide her decisions. She apologizes, and tears fall as she says the words she should have said long ago. In the crowd, Balthazar listens. Even after everything, his feelings never completely disappeared. He walks onto the stage and approaches her. Without hesitation, he kisses her in front of everyone. From that moment on, the two of them begin building a new life together. Not glamorous, not perfect, but real. They start a small business, work side by side, and slowly reshape their lives into something healthier and more sincere. And so, a story that began with lies, manipulation, and fear ends in honesty, forgiveness, and love. Two people from different worlds, different ages, finding each other again because they chose truth over pride. So the moral of the story is, if you fake a relationship for clout, be ready to end up actually dating the guy and losing your job, your dignity, and possibly your sanity in the process.